Welcome to Truckers Voices Podcast. Your host, Tim Taylor, and co-host, Steve Brand. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
This is Danny Smith. Just calling to tell you how much I appreciate listening to your show, Truckers Voices. It's very informative. I really like hearing the drivers' stories, how they got into the trucking industry and maybe what kind of trucks they started out with. And it's just been a lot of fun. And I would encourage any drivers out there to tune in and listen, call in, be a part of it. It's a great show. Thanks.
Hi, this is Scott Post, and I love Truckers' Voices because there's always something entertaining and educational for our industry. And it's also hosted by two of my good friends, Tim Taylor and Steve Brand. Tune in tonight. And in the meantime, be safe out there.
Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? My name's Charlie Demchuk, and I'm here to welcome you to tonight's big show. Y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Tim and Steve got a good one in store for you. So have a good night. We'll see ya.
Well, good evening, podcast land. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Truckers Voices. It's your co-host, Steve Brand. Tonight, we are acting in the seat of the coast. Yep, Tim's on special assignment over somewhere in Arkansas. I don't know what he's doing, but he's over playing around somewhere. But I'd like to welcome y'all in. Hope everybody had a good week so far. Been a good trucking week. We had a little snow up northeast Ohio. Not too bad. We could deal with it. And everything's going good. But hey, we ain't going to keep you too long. We got a special guest back tonight for part 2, Mr. Dave Schroeder. We didn't get to quite finish his his career, and I want to talk to him some more. We got some TDC talking to do and some road team captain to talking about. So, well, let's see if I can figure this out. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. It's my first time flying solo. So, don't know how this is going to work. It might work good. It might. I don't know. So, without further ado, let me bring Mr. Schroeder in. Sorry. I don't have all the sound effects, brother. You're looking good, man. What did I see you about 3 hours ago? I passed you on the road. Something like that.
I waved at you. You waved at me, and it was all good.
I was getting passed by a competitor. He's got a faster truck than me. And I say, it is what it is. So it's all good. But let's see. Man,
he was blowing your doors off too.
Oh, he was tearing me up, man. Just tearing me up.
That's all right, though.
Yeah. Hey, we can handle it. It's all good, But what's happening here? Try to figure out what's going on. I don't know. So, how's your week been? Mine ain't been too bad. How's your week been?
It's been great. It's actually been great. We've had, as well as I do up here in Ohio, we've had great weather. I'll take this the rest of the year. As a matter of fact, RB out of Mansfield, he just seen one of his posts where he was alluding to that fact, the great weather, and we'll take this the rest of the year. And I said, what? Absolutely. Got my shirt in, got my trucker's shirt in here on the back. Yeah, looking styling and profiling.
They see me rolling, baby. They see me rolling.
Yeah, baby. So thanks to Tim for getting that out to me. And yeah, got it and ready to roll here.
That'll work. That'll work. Like I said, we had a little snow up northeast Ohio, up there in Pennsylvania, but it wasn't bad. It just, they put enough brine on the road. It just turned wet. So it wasn't no big deal. Just messed up the frame on the truck, made it all look nice and pretty white and, everything.
Now you got to wash it again.
Yeah. Well, it rained. What did it rain? It rained yesterday. So that kind of cleaned it off. But yeah, it's all good. It's kind of like I come back in and I got the shop to lubricate my fifth wheel real good, put a little extra grease on it, make sure the handle's working nice and good. Then I go up there and run all it. So I'm like, gotta be kidding me right now. But
you know what? It comes with the territory. Tis the season.
Well, that's it, man. I mean, and that's what you do. You keep your equipment, maintained, keep it well safety checked and everything going. And yeah, let me see here. We got a few people signing in here. Let's see. I got Bill McAmee. How you doing, Bill? Got Nancy Channel Post. Got Bob here. Hey, Bob. Hope you're having a good time down there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ben Atkins is on there. Hi, Ben. How you doing? Timothy is it? Got him on there. Everybody else, how y'all doing? So what do you think, Dave? You think we ought to get this show started? I mean,
yeah, man, let's do it. Let's truck it up.
So let's kind of back up a little bit. We know we started out truck driver training with the paper plate steering wheel and the turnpike living room and crashing into your brother and crashing into your sister and yeah. Mom was a safety man. Safety lady. She kept everything going. But and then you got your first driving job, driving for Big Boys. So then take it from there, brother. Take it from there. Let us know. Give us a new intro. Who you are, what you're doing, where you been. Sorry you got to put up with me. But, hey, it's all good, man. All good.
No, man, you're doing good. You're doing real good. So anyways, I think I covered it last week, 41 years in the industry and over 4 million safe miles behind the wheel. And I love what I'm doing. I love it just as much today as I did even back when I was 4 years old driving that paper plate. And so I talked about last week, starting my career with LB's Big Boy Restaurants, bussing tables and washing dishes to cooking to loading trucks to driving them, and then eventually driving the tractor trailer. Then I went to Tri-State Wholesale Oil, drove all up and down the East Coast, east of the Mississippi for about 3 years. And then for 2 years, my final 2 years with them was with them for 5 years as well. LB's 5 years and then them 5 years. The last 2 years. The last 2 years.
I'm just playing with buttons. You're just, never mind me. I'm sorry.
The last 2 years with them, pulling a tanker. And I did like that. I enjoyed pulling that tanker. It was good, clean work. Somebody said, doesn't that bother you riding around with an 8,000-gallon bomb on your back all day? No, it didn't bother me at all. If you're confident in what you're doing and you focus on all your safety programs and what you're doing properly, you can't let stuff like that bother you. You got to go out and do your job, and America, they're counting on you. They need that gasoline, they need that diesel fuel, they need that fuel oil. So they're counting on you to get there. And so I enjoyed pulling a tanker. Then from there, I went to Martin Brower. And that was a young man's job right there because we literally, we delivered McDonald's, nothing but McDonald's. And those trailers, I think I alluded to it a little bit last week. Those trailers were really well designed because it would be -10 the first third of the trailer, 35 degrees in the middle, and 99 degrees. If it was 99 out, the tail third of the trailer was 99 degrees with the dry products back there. And Really well designed. We'd set up the rollers and we would.
Okay, hold up right there. Okay, I'm believing this. I pulled minimal reefer. How did they break that up?
So there was two bulkheads that fit side by side, and they were about 8 to 10 inches thick. And they would, with Velcro, they would interlock. They had a flap on them, and it was a female and a male side. Female on one side and a male side with the flap that folded over, and that would lock right into each other. Two of them side by side, and there was handles on them. You could grab the two handles and set them into place, and then set the other one right next to it into place. And that was the wall, that separated one section, the freezer from the cooler from the dry. And so it was very well designed. But you would there was 3 doors on the side of the trailer, and so you would whatever section you was unloading, you set up the rollers and the stands, and that was a process getting all that set up. And then you would cut the shrink wrap off of their skid or one of their skids and start sending case by case by case down them rollers. And then you'd tear at least part of the rollers down, move the truck to the next door, set back up again, and go at it again. And till you got that stop done, and then on to the next stop. And so it was throwing anywhere from 32 to 30, most time 36 to 42,000 pounds of freight every day, case by case. So you got a pretty good workout by the end of the day. You surely did.
I'd say so. I mean, how many stops would that be?
Anywhere. It depended on the size of the store. We used to go to State College up there at Penn State, and one of the stores right downtown next to the stadium, they would get the whole entire truck. And I've even seen 2 trucks go there. They would do one truck of nothing but fries, cases of French fries, and they would park it right out back of the store, and they could go out there. They use that as an off-site freezer. Right. And then they would get the second truck, and the whole truck was theirs. And in the summertime, they barely, that was probably 900 to 1,200 cases going to them in the, game on, if it was game day football, they would get 900 to 1,200 cases. Then in the summertime, maybe 150. I mean, it was a huge, drastic difference. So it depended on what store, how big, and where it was located.
Right.
Anywhere from 3 to 4 stops to 6 to 8 stops, depending on how big the stores, each one of them were.
Now, how was the you don't have to give me any figures, just how was the pay broke down on that? Did you get paid by the mile when you was driving, but then you paid by the hour? Did you get paid by the case?
It was by the hour. We got paid by the hour. So when I left Tri-State, I started there at $7.35 an hour, and I left there at $9 an hour. And when I got on with Martin Breyer, the hiring manager, he said, Dave, we'd love to bring you on. We'd love to have you. The only thing is, we know you got 10 years experience, but we have to start you out at starting wage. And I said, okay, what's that? And he said, $13.85 an hour. That was almost a $5 raise, $5 an hour raise for me. And I said, I'll take it. He was afraid I was going to say no because of the starting rate.
Right.
But no, that was a $5 raise. So yeah, I was absolutely all about it. And then right before I left there, about the last 2 years I was there, and I was there for 12 years. The last 2 years they were going with a cart system and a tailgate that dropped down. And so you would wheel the carts onto the lift gate, lower that down, and wheel them into the store. No longer throwing case by case. So it was a whole lot easier on your body and a whole lot quicker to make a delivery. So 12 years with them.
So now, did you have a local route, or did you have a route that you went out so far, spent night in the hotel, got up, finished your delivery, and then maybe go pick up a straight load back to the plant, or how'd that work?
We mostly deadheaded back after you emptied out. Some of the runs were layovers, but very few. Most of them were out and back the same day. they were, we had bids. We had bid runs. So it depends on which one you bid. One year I could not believe this bid got down to me. It had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Only the top 4 drivers out of all of us had weekends off. You might get a Saturday off or a Sunday off, but very, very few of the guys, usually the top 4, had Saturday and Sunday off. So this bid gets down to me. It has Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. 4 days off 3. I was like, man, I cannot pass that up. Well, I seen why it got passed down to me, because those 4 days were long. That's when we were under DOT. We could run 15 hours and, drive 10 and unload for 5. So they were all long days. I would barely make it back, barely had enough time to make it back. And I had to hump, and it was all the stores. Every day I left out, the trailer was loaded to the max. And by the end of the 4th day, man, I was so whipped. It took me 2 days just to recuperate. I just didn't feel like doing nothing. And so I saw real quick why that bid got down to me. So
how long did you have to stay on that bid before you got off of it?
They were 6 months bids. So yeah, I did that for a while. It was nice having the days off, but I really didn't feel like doing anything till Sunday. And then now you got to get ready and go back to work on Monday. So, it was definitely a young man's job throwing those cases like that. But I enjoyed it. They were good to me. It was a great company to work for. And like I said, 12 years. Then I left them. And I put in an application in November for American Freightways, and in Wheeling, they switched over to FedEx Freight in January of 2005, and then I was hired in April. So I actually put my application in. It was American Freightways, but I was hired under FedEx just as the Wheeling terminal went FedEx. So I've been with them coming up on 19 years, almost 19 years now, and the whole time it's been FedEx, and great job, best job I've had so far.
Exactly.
Yes.
What kind of bids do you have whenever you started with FedEx?
We were running, almost all of us. They had a few running, I'd say 6 or 7, maybe 8, that was running Knightstown, Indiana on day run. All the rest of us were going to Hagerstown, Maryland. One thing about it, soon as I got on, man, they were putting runs on left and right. They were growing fast. And within a year, I had 11 guys under me already within 1 year. That's how fast that center was growing.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't we used to have bids out of Dayton that went out and met Hagerstown. Let's see, we met Hagerstown at Dallas Pike, and then we met Baltimore. Where was that at? Washington, PA, I think it was.
Okay.
Used to be an old 76 truck stop out there. So a couple times, I never did really run them on the bid, but I've run.
Wasn't that Smithton? Was that Smithton, PA?
Maybe
76.
The old 76 set down the holler. I remember when you come out, you had to loop around and get on the highway, and you didn't have much of a runway at all.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just before Washington.
Yeah.
I think it became a Petro after that.
Is that what that is now? I don't
know. I think they shut the truck stop down, and there's like a gas and oil outfit that's in there now. But I think it became a Petro. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. Exactly. But, so I made it through the old Wheeling terminal. Like we talked the other day, I made it through there a couple of different times. And then y'all moved out to St. Clairsville. And first time I went there, I thought, man, I am lost. There's no way there's anything up here. And then, it's not that difficult once you get there. But once you start down there, you're like, I don't think these directions are right. But it's all good. It's all
Which
good.
one, the old one or the new terminal?
Both. Both. Well, the new one was because you pass it. And then
Yeah.
you had to go down and you had to turn the opposite direction. You had to go on the opposite side of the highway and then cross back over. And I'm like, this ain't right. It just didn't look right. But yeah, it all turned out. So, so you've been here 19 years. I've been here 27 and a half. So July was 27 for me.
Yeah, cool. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I run the road for 7 years prior, and every once in a while I get a little road sick, but I get that out of my system. I get to go do an event and drive a truck, and I get that out of my system real quick. But back up to what you was talking about being a young man's job there at Martin Brower. This is what a lot of people don't understand about the trucking industry, how much work a driver does, to get them what they need. We just don't, anymore it's getting better to go pick up a load and drop a load. But, back in the day, whenever you started with them and everything else, you got to make those deliveries. You got to hand unload that stuff. Somebody, it just don't magically appear.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And, yeah, it's definitely, there's still a lot of guys out there that hump that freight like that every day.
Absolutely. And even loading the trucks in a warehouse, unloading it. A lot of times, I know when I was running with Tri-State Wholesale Oil, so we would deliver nothing but motor oil, cased motor oil, every brand you can think of. We'd go to Kmart's, Fisher Big Wheel, Ames department stores. I mean, there's some names right there that don't even exist anymore. And we would pull skids off. Sometimes, you would be in a downhill ramp against their dock, and to pull that skid uphill. Oh, yeah, you're, just giving it everything that you had to get it uphill. So yeah, there was times that it wasn't easy. And even with the LB's Big Boy, same thing there. It was all hand unload. I didn't have the rollers like I did with Martin Brower, but I'd slide everything to the back and then jump down and use a hand truck, a dolly, and load everything up and hand truck it into their freezer or their cooler or their dry area and stack it, and go get another load until you get that whole entire stop off. So, yeah, in the trucking industry, it can be, there can be a lot of work behind it. And I know delivering that case oil, pulling them skids off and things like that. When I went to the tanker division, dragging that hose and hooking it up and letting the trailer unload itself, that was nice. You just had to be careful you didn't overflow the tank. And
right.
Did that once. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I heard on the radio a local outfit here apparently spilled about 5,500 gallons of fuel on the ground.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah. I don't know the particulars about it, but I heard that. I think it happened last week. They spilled like 5,500 gallons, and I think they trapped something like 2,500 gallons in a dead end creek bed or something like that. But yeah, I didn't get all the particulars, and I thought, ooh, that's not good. I never pulled a tank. I've never hauled livestock and I never pulled a tank, but I have pulled a lot of other stuff. So I
know a couple of tanker buddies of mine that I worked at Tri-State, and they still stayed. They went to another company, but stayed in the tanker division. And back then you have to stick the tank and get your chart out and match it to their chart. And every tank was different. A different size, different width or length or whatever. And so you had to figure out, do the math and figure out how much it can hold. Where I'm hearing a lot of technology, especially on the newer stations today. It's all automatic read. It tells you what it can hold and what it can't, almost like the fuel tank in your car. So yeah, it's come a long way. I think there's still a lot of stations out there that exist, have the old tanks and you have to stick them and do the math. But, and I don't know that for sure. Cause like I said, it's been Well, it's been 30 years since the tanker, so just from what I hear, there's a lot of upgraded technology in the tanker world. So that's good.
Right.
That's good.
Well, we'll touch base on that. You just said something with the modern technology and everything. From the time you started trucking 41 years ago, what kind of technology has evolved to today?
Everything, even our dash, the gauges on our dash are all, it's pretty neat when you start truck up and how the gauges just, boom, they just come up, from nothing, from a black screen to, it's
Right.
not your old, it's not the old gauges.
The old mechanical, whenever the gauge
Right.
drop, you're tapping it with your finger. Like, is it still working? Is it still working?
Been there, done that many times.
Oh yeah.
Especially when it's bitter cold out. Some of the needles, they don't like to move at all. And I don't blame them. It's bitter cold. So, but yeah, from the gauges to, I talked about last time being in that R model Mac with the mechanical seat, the rubber cab mounts, the humpback spring system on the suspension. There was no air ride, nothing, to where the trucks we're driving today are, air ride seat, air ride mounts, cab mounts, air ride suspension. And that technology has come a long, long way. And then, even the fifth wheel releases in the trucks now, that's huge. That is huge. The flip a button and hold it there and it counts down on the dash and tells you that it has been successfully released or not,
Right.
Reaching up under there and pulling it by hand, which, you and I have done for years and years and years. So this new technology, that has come a long way. And then you got all the, collision mitigations and lane departures and all of that stuff, cruise control, power mirrors, heated mirrors. None of that was available back then on that R model Mac. So yeah, technology has definitely improved the performance of the truck and the performance of the driver as well, and safety. There's more and more, and I gave figures, and I don't have them this time. I gave figures last time of how many more drivers are out on the road from when I first started, which is right about 100 million more.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot in 40 years. So the technology that's on the equipment today is definitely designed to keep not only the driver but the motoring public safer out there. Right. So I welcome it. I mean, it's all designed for safety.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. That's the main thing. It's all about the safety and everything. So, and going back to the equipment, I know I'm kind of backing up here and moving around, but this just kind of hit me. What length of trailer was you pulling around with Martin Breyer? 40, 45, 48?
Yeah, 45 to 48.
Right. And now 48s are almost obsolete. Everything's going 53.
Yeah. And when I was with Elby's, we had the 43 footers.
43.
Yeah. The 43 foot reefers and with a day cab. So yeah, they're you're right. They're almost obsolete today.
Yeah. Yeah.
About the only thing that length is a tanker, right?
I think so. I think they're around 40, 42 foot, something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't really pull one. I think they're around 40, 42 foot. About the same way with the hopper bottom. So,
right.
But let's see, somebody here. I'm just looking here, run mostly 48. Yeah, there's quite a few 48 still out there. 53's coming into play. I know back in 89 when I started trucking on the road, Texas was getting 57 footers.
Oh,
yeah, because they manufactured them up there outside of Kansas City. I'm trying to think, was it Fruhoff? Trailmobile? I can't remember. But we would, I was working for RIS back then, and we would go over and get those trailers, have to have the banners, have to have the permits. You had to run down the turnpike. And get yourself over there and then taking 57s down. And then of course, they couldn't leave Texas, but take you a day and a half, drive across Texas, one side to the other. So, no big deal. But let's see, we got some questions coming up here. Let's see. What do we got here? Bear with me. I ain't got no names coming up on my computer, so I got to look at my phone here. Timothy Azette says 4.5 years with Keenan Advantage Specialty Products Group. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I know some guys with Keenan.
I know a few guys with Keenan. I know a few guys that lost their job over at Yoa. That's what they're doing now, is pulling tank. So, I've never dealt with the tank. Never dealt with it. My dad did, but I never dealt with the tank. So, but let's kind of step a little forward now, and we was talking about safety. You're a TDC participant. Matter of fact, you're the 2023 grand champion here in the state of Ohio. Congratulations again. That was a big night. It was a night I wanted to crawl underneath the table as bad as I did. It's like they always say Elvis left the building. I left the building that day. It was, but oh well, live and learn. But when did you find out about the TDC? When did you get involved? Why did you get involved? All those questions.
Okay. You know what? It's actually right when I first started with FedEx. I was over on Hagerstown Dock, and the assistant center manager come up to me and he said, "Dave, are you interested in doing the TDC?" I was like, "TDC? What's that?" He's like, "Truck Driving Championship." And I was like, "You mean like a rodeo?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I said, "When you like driving a course?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "You know what? When my dad was with Matlack, he drove 15 years with Matlack. That's how I ended up in Toronto. And I was born in Canton, and right about the beginning of grade school, we moved to. He got on with Matlack up in Canton, and he was only working, luckily, 1 or 2, maybe 3 days a week. So they opened up a new terminal in Toronto. We transferred down to there, and so he went to a full-time position, and I was raised in Toronto, Ohio. Great city. I love Toronto. It's a great place to raise a family.
No, we're
so what's that?
Toronto, Ohio, correct?
Yes, Toronto, Ohio.
Not Canada. Okay.
Right on the Ohio River, just north of Steubenville. Anyways, I used to watch him compete in Matlack's TDC or rodeo, truck rodeo, and they used to have their own, I believe, and it was up in Sandusky as well. It's kind of odd. That many years ago, I was just a little, just 5, 6, 7, 8 years old watching him compete, and we would go to Sandusky, and it would be all Matlack. I don't remember them doing a written exam. They may have, and of course he passed away in 2003, so I can't ask him. But I used to watch him, and I thought, man, I'd love to work for a company that had a truck rodeo. So when he asked me that, and he told me yes, like a truck rodeo, I went back and asked my center manager, about it. And he's like, "Oh, you want to compete in that?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, so let me print this form out. I'll give it to you. You fill it out, bring it back, and we'll submit it, and you'll get your packet." And I said, "Okay." And he's like, I said, "What's in the packet?" "What do you mean a packet?" And he's like, "Well, your study book." I was like, "Study book?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's 3 parts to it. There's a driving part, on the course, and then there's a pre-trip, and then there's a written exam." I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" He says, "There's a driving course." I said, "I heard all that. What do you mean written exam?" He said, "Well, there's a written exam." I said, "And that's what the study book is?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What's it like?" He said, and he does this. He said, "It's about this thick."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're talking a textbook." I said, "So do they just pick a section out of there that they test off of?" And he said, "No, you got to study the whole book." And I was like, and I hated tests in school. So I said, "You know what? Never mind." So I decided not to do it.
Now
Yeah.
it's about this thick, where it used to be about that thick. It kind of looked like the old. It looked like the little green book we used to have. Remember the little green book we carried in
Right.
the trucks?
Right.
It was about that thick, and the print was real small. And oh yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I backed out. I decided not to because I hated tests in school and wasn't that good at reading. Then started going to church and dedicate my life to following Christ. And my pastor wanted me to teach the adult Sunday school class one day, and I was like, "Excuse me?" He wanted me to teach it, so I was real reluctant. I didn't want to. I said no, and then finally I agreed to it. He kept bugging me, several months, and so I decided to do it once, and then he wanted me to do it again, and then several more times, and then he wanted me to be the assistant teacher, and so I would start studying the lesson and preparing, and I got a whole lot better at reading and all that, and so I thought, you know what, I think I can do this, this written exam if I can study for that. My biggest fear of that written exam was being a 22-year veteran at that time of on the road, even though I would be considered a rookie at the TDC, having 22 years behind my belt and going up there and flunking this test. That's what was my biggest fear, was getting a big F on this. And nobody told me, So when I talk to guys now, new drivers and that, I'd make sure I tell them. And Scott Woodrum, I hope he doesn't mind me dropping his name. He had the best explanation of all. He said they give you 80 points. It's 40 questions. They give you 80 points. It's up to you to keep as many points as possible. Each question you miss is 2 points. And then it's a number system. You're given a number, an ID number, so nobody knows your score. So once I learned all this, I thought, you know what, I got enough confidence. I'm going to do it. So it wasn't until 2017 that I missed from 05 to 17 before I finally got the nerve to try it. And man, do I wish I'd have started this a whole lot earlier, because the first year I was bitten. I was bitten by the bug, the TDC bug. And I encourage anyone, if you've never done it, if you've thought about doing it, please do it. Because when you do, you'll wish you did it a whole lot earlier, like myself.
Exactly. And then you've got charity competitions out there like Safety Drive for a Cure. Herschel Evans and his group puts that on. You've got the Make-A-Wish over in Virginia that puts that on, and I believe that has moved down to North Carolina this year. But you find these charity events to go get into to better your skills, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I started in '99. There was 4 drivers with American Freightways, 4 drivers, 2 city guys. It was brothers out of Columbus, myself, and a Cleveland driver. I walked in down there and knew absolutely nothing. I practiced one time. I got on my motorcycle and I rode over to talk to my buddies over in Indianapolis. I roll up in the gate where I think it was the old terminal. Yeah, it was the one down there on Minnesota. I pulled through the gate and here's these barrels set up and they got a set of pups there. Well, I didn't know nothing about the different classes. I thought, hey, I'm pulling pups. I can do pups. So I get off my bike, shake hands, everybody. Well, hey, how you doing? All this other stuff. Met a couple guys I talked to on the radio. Never met them before. And I said, okay, what are we doing here? He said, get in the truck and wiggle your way through them barrels. I said, you're nuts. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. So I tried it. They had to move a couple of the barrels. They put the barrels back. I went up, turned around. My buddy, he's no longer with us now, but he got in the truck, showed me it could be done. And I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. Probably got it back here in the file cabinet somewhere. But I think the first year I scored like 16th or 17th out of like 25 drivers. And I think the only thing that really brought me up was the pre-trip and the test score, But yeah, I was hooked. And I
was definitely hooked in 17 because that was my rookie year. And Ohio, I don't know where they placed this year, but they were always one of the biggest in the United States, usually behind Texas, California, or California and Texas, either one of those orders. So it was, I think it was California, Texas, then Florida, then Ohio. I know that's what it was in 17. We were the fourth largest. As a matter of fact, I took second place and got Rookie of the Year that in 17, and there was 48 in my class. That's a national, that's national competition right there. So, yeah, I was definitely bitten by the bug and couldn't wait till next year to get back. And Jeff Rose beat me that year and took first place. And then he took first place the next year. He is a tough competitor. And I wanted to give a little shout out to him and to Mark and Kathy Spencer. Last week, I got a question about from Mike Sinclair to talk about the no zone at the high state. And them guys have been doing it. I know Mark and Kathy, they've been doing it for 27 years. And I've only been up there at the high state fair doing it 2 years. So a big shout out to them guys and what they have gotten going. That is such a great program up there. But the TDC, I love competing in it. And I love the charity events. I've done Herschel's, I think 4, maybe 5 times. That's the kickoff of the season, the TDC season. That's how I look at it. That's usually in March. He just had great news, of teaming up with UPS on this. And that is great news. They're coming behind him 100%. So good for them. It's a great fundraiser for Pediatric Brain Tumor Research Foundation. So the money that they raise is definitely going to a good cause. And like I said, it kicks off the TDC season. So it's great to be a part of.
Yeah, and I believe this next year coming up is March 16th. I believe it is down in Atlanta.
Okay.
Everybody go to your Facebook page, Safety Drive for a Cure. Check it all out. All the information's there. It's going to be another awesome event. And
he usually has 10. He usually has 10 course problems out there instead of just 6.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to see at the state and the national level, you're probably going to see at least 4 of those, maybe 5 of those out of 6, if not all 6. And it is, when you leave Safety Drive for a Cure after the competition's over and you head home, you have a pretty good idea of what you need to work on before you get to your state. So it's a great learning tool to go and participate and be a part of. Not only that, but the the fundraiser for the foundation.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. You leave there with the general idea of what you need to work on, where you need to knock the rust off, but you leave there with a super warm heart of knowing what you just did, what you was a part of.
Absolutely.
And then the friends that you make, the friends that you had, that you now call family, it's your family that you go see, and you just added people to your family. It's totally awesome, and when you can be a part of that. Same way with the Make-A-Wish Fund Drive over in Virginia, which, like I said, I believe now it's moved down into North Carolina. And I think it's on the same weekend as Herschel's. That just kind of come about. I don't think any of that was planned. It just kind of come about. But, I missed last year going down to Virginia. I got called up for an event to do down in Georgia. So I took the event and safety event. And so I missed it, but I got to go back this year. And I tell you what, man, you stand out there in the pouring down rain, the misting rain, the fog, it doesn't matter. You're out there, the blistering sun, and you're there for the charity, number one, but number two, you're there for yourself. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the pre-trip portion of it. What do you think about the pre-trip portion? How has that helped you in your daily routine? I mean, it's kind of odd. We get 30 minutes to put our trailers together and do our pre-trip and everything. And there you only got 7 minutes to 10 minutes to do it. But I mean, the things you look at, the things you see, and I don't know about yourself, Dave, but I can pick up stuff now just walking up to the equipment because I know where to look.
Exactly.
I know where to look now. The
It
training.
definitely gives you an awareness of what to look for. Even after being in the industry for as many years as some of us have, yeah, definitely competing and learning some of the defects that they plant on these, on this equipment has definitely opened my eyes to so many more potential hazards that that you want to look for. Herschel, I know all the states do, and Herschel's event down there, they do a killer pre-trip. They do a killer written exam as well.
Yes.
So when you leave an event like that and head home, you definitely have a good idea whether and maybe all three, the written exam, the pre-trip, and the course, of what you need to work on when you get back home, what you need to study, what you need to work on in your pre-trip, whether it's your timing, your routine, which way you want to go, this way or that way, what you want to get, there's so much that you can do and to improve yourself. And to me, that's the whole focus of the TDC, is to improve us to be safer drivers out there on the road, whether it's improving our pre-trip, improving our knowledge. And it's great to even know, in that facts for drivers about first aid, because you never know. And it has come, handy, very handy for a lot of drivers that have come up on a tragic situation to where they have, exited the truck and helped to get motorists out of cars and stuff like that, or administer first aid. And a lot of that learning, a lot of that training came from participating in the TDC. So it's definitely a great event to be a participant of.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
Right.
something I got all my kids involved in it. My oldest one, let's see, he helped me a couple years, and then he kind of bailed out of it. Got the friends, got the buddies, ain't got time to be with dad. My daughter, a little bit, but my youngest boy, Corey, you're doing something right when you're going down the road on vacation, and out of the back seat comes this little squeaky voice. He's about 10, 11 years old. Defect. He's got a mud flap missing. Defect. He got no license plate. The boy is finding the defects. And, later on, you can ask Scott about it. Later on, he was setting up our pre-shows for us. Of course, now he's all grown up on me, and firefighter and paramedic and everything. But, just the getting the kids involved is just awesome. And this by going to nationals, the amount of children that are at nationals, the families, the wives, the husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, that's what this industry is about. Bring everybody together.
Family. Absolutely.
But let's see, you put your specs on. You going to read something to us? You got something
no,
going on there?
No, I was just looking at something here, but no.
Okay.
Not going to read nothing.
Okay, so we touched on that. I'm sitting there looking at the clock. We got about 10, 11 minutes. Let's go into America's Road Team. What sparked your interest to get in America's Road Team? I know that's one thing on the application for the TDC. It asked, are you interested in America's Road Team? Have you ever been on America's Road Team? Are you interested? And every year on a personal note, I check the box. Yes. I never heard nothing. And I went to our district safety man. He was at the TDC. And I just told him, I said, Frank, I want to try this. I said, I've heard about it, learned about it. I know guys that are captains, and I said that's where my passion is. And he's like, all right, let me see what we can do. And he run it up the flagpole, and next thing I know, I get the application and go with it from there. But what sparked your interest in it?
Well, you're exactly right. At the TDC, it was part of the forum. Would you ever? And so I asked around as I think that first year I was competing on Saturday. And so on Friday, I got to watch the competition. And so just standing out there around the course and talking with, like you say, you meet so many new friends and new people and other companies, not just your company. And you get to talk to this driver and that driver. So I was asking them, what is this road team thing? I seen that on the application, would you mind serving on the road team? And I checked yes, but I wasn't even sure what it was. So once I heard what it was and what they do and how they go out and educate, high schools and mostly teenagers and grade school, junior highs, educate our next generation. I definitely wanted to be a part of that. And the more I learned about it and talking with guys, if you remember, you was one of them that I called. And since I got to know you from Ohio and you're, you're part of the FedEx team as well. And so got your phone number and some other guys and talking to you guys about what is the road team. And the more I learned about it, the more I wanted to be a part of that and to pay it forward after 41 years on the highway and over 4 million miles. I love the fact that I'm having the opportunity to pay that forward to the next generation. And I hope to instill some of that safety and some of that enthusiasm in this next generation as they become, or even thinking about become truck drivers. Because even at some of the schools, until we get there and talk to them, some of them never even thought about becoming a truck driver. But the more they learned, the more they heard, and talking with veteran drivers like ourselves, I've seen several students, male or female, decide that, you know what, I think I might want to become a truck driver.
Exactly.
So that's what sparked my interest, being able to pay up forward.
Exactly. And, like you said, we go talk about share the road. We talk about how dangerous it is, texting while driving and distracted driving and everything else. Cause, we talked about it the other day. You're a few years older than me, but not that much older. Back in our day, it was drunk driving. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't, we had distractions, but we didn't know anything about distracted driving. It was drunk driving, and I'm not going to get off on it, but Ohio just legalized recreational marijuana. So now we've got that going on. Not only you got drunk drivers out here, you got distracted drivers. Now you got a guy that's going to, burn a fatty on the lunch break and then finish out the day and drive home, So, to go to these schools and give these young people an opportunity to get up in a brand new truck like we have and look around, and some of these kids they've never even been close to a truck other than going down the interstate, and to spark that interest. You see that twinkle in their eye that I had when I was a young kid. Wow, I want to do that, So, I mean, that's a lot of fun, but
it's nice to see their face light up, the smile on their face when they get, and not only the students, but even the parents or the faculty members, when they get in there and they're like, wow, you know what? I had no idea that you guys can't see as much as I thought you could see in the mirrors and, the view that you got from up here. And, it definitely, but I love to see the smile and the faces light up when the students get up in there and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a young lady in Roanoke that was really inquisitive about the truck, and I was talking about the outside and showing them the car, and then get them up in the truck, make the car disappear, and everything, and she's like, "Can I look back there?" And she was talking about the sleeper. I said, "Sure." So she's like, there's a bed back there. There's 2 beds back there. I said, yeah, you can put a TV, you can put a microwave. We got a refrigerator in there. And, I started explaining to them how COVID created truck drivers to be campers. These guys get their little one burner, and their hot plate and all that stuff, and start cooking in the truck because they couldn't go eat in the truck stop. You can't walk through a drive-through. And she's like, you could really live here? I said, sure can. And I said, the hardest part about this truck in the industry is it doesn't have a bathroom or a shower. That's the hardest part. And I said, but there's big sleepers out there. It's got showers and everything. And, but talking to her, I think it's got her mindset of going that direction. And when the class was over and they was all leaving, and she thanked me for the information and everything. As a matter of fact, before the class was over, we was all done. We just standing there talking. She said, can I get back up there and look around again? I said, sure. I mean, she was just fascinated by this. So I just kind of grinned and winked at her. I said, see, leave the boys alone. Go make a living. You can do it.
That's good. You know how many times I've heard at all the high schools that I've done, you know how many times I've heard when they look in the back and at the sleeper that, oh my, it's like a hotel back there. It's like a hotel room. A lot of sleepers are pretty nice.
Oh yeah. And I tell them, hey, bring your Xbox or whatever, take it on the road with you. So your downtime. And then this one young man, he's like, well, how am I going to get internet service? I said, you got a hotspot on your phone? And he looks at me, David, he goes, you know about hotspots? Oh yeah, piece of cake. I know it all. I ain't got a clue what a hotspot is. I know it because my kid told me about it. But it's
there you have it.
So, to get in there and teach and educate and forward that knowledge on for the passion of the industry that you have and I have, it's no greater feeling. No greater feeling.
Yeah, even if they don't have a desire whatsoever to be a truck driver, like I tell them, the more you know about driving safely in and around trucks and where our blind spots are and stopping distance and following distance, the more you're educated, the less you are scared of truck. We don't want you to be scared of trucks. We are a friend of yours on the highway. And that's what Share the Road is all about. Share the road. We're a friend. So we don't want you to be afraid of trucks. The more you're educated, the more you know, the safer you are, the safer we are, the safer the motor public is. So that is the gist of what we do. And I love it. I love, whether you want to be a truck driver or not, I love educating the motoring public.
Yeah, that's just that's just kind of a addition to what we're doing. Teach and Share the Road. We'll talk to you about the industry. Hey, I ain't failed to make a paycheck yet. I mean, fortunately, there's been a meal on the table. There's been some tough times. There has been some tough times. But and that's not the trucking industry's fault. Look what we're going through right now. The freight's down, economy's down, prices are going up. But to have this opportunity and everything, and I'm sitting there looking at it, we got about 2 minutes, so I guess we better start winding it down here. Dave, I appreciate you coming back on the show, brother.
Appreciate you having me.
Good to chit chat with you. And
yes, sir.
And man, appreciate all you do in this career and everything. And with that being said, would you like to leave us on a good safety note?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to reiterate what I did last week. Drivers, if you have the opportunity, especially with the the winter season, the salt and snow and all that, take a rag or the back of your gloves, clean them taillights off, clean that conspicuosity tape that's on the back of the rear doors and the bumpers. You want to be seen. You don't want to be rear-ended and in an accident. So clean those off and be safe out there. Like I said last week, safety is no accident. We all knew that. We've all heard that. But take that a step further. Safety is practice and purpose put into action.
Amen, brother. Amen. All right, brother. I'll meet you in the green room. I'm gonna get us out of here.
Hey, let me close with this 1 second, Steve.
Do
You know,
I?
with it being Christmas season, you know, with the Christmas trees and the lights and all the decorations and, you know, the family gathering and the feast and the packages and the gifts and the unwrapping and all that, you know, enjoy that family time together. But most of all, even with Santa Claus and Rudolph and Frosty, let's not forget the reason for the season. And that's Jesus Christ being born in a manger. So let's take a moment this season and reflect on him.
Amen,
But
brother.
thanks for having me on. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
thanks for coming on. Hey, y'all, bear with me. I'm new at this. I'm working at it. I hope y'all had a good time. We'll see you on the other side.